Welcome everybody, this is your boy Isn't Nefarious and I am here with another team report. This is our week 2 team report for the New England Patriots. So what I've already played my week 2 game, so we'll dive into that and then we'll check a few other things as well. So let's first let's go to week 1 and check the week 1 score. We got the force win, but we'll check out the stats and all that. So week 1, we played the Dolphins. We got the free win here. Uh, Dylan McCaffrey had a good game. 280 yards plus and 3 touchdowns, 115 rating. Good completion percentage at 64. Tua had an awesome game as well. No turnovers. 60% completion percentage. 99 rating. You take a look at the rushing leaders. You got Max Borgi here, 20 rushes for 75 yards. Not a great game. Najee Harris, 5.3 yards per carry. He always seems to do well when it's the computer. I just can't rush with him. Ronald Jones was pretty bottled up from the Patriots defense. And Bryce Love got a few touches there as well. Take a look at the receiving. You got Trevon Grimes. He got 8 receptions for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns, so a hell of a game by Trevon Grimes. Looking to get him more involved in every game pretty much. Then you got Jared Cornelius, 8 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And then we got one more touchdown on here. We got David Morgan, who also found the end zone. Let's take a look at all the touchdowns. So we got David Morgan, who also found the end zone, the tight end, and then you got Sean Brown, the wide receiver, who found the end zone. But obviously the MVP for this game looks like Trevon Grimes. Let's take a look at the defense real quick. Devin White was up there, DeAndre Baker for tackles. Rookie Christian Tutt was up there with tackles as well. Then we got Anthony Barr that's there. Tackles for loss, you got Vit Villa, who was a big free agent pickup for the Miami Dolphins. That defensive line is pretty scary with him and added to it. So we'll go. Well, we already looked at his defensive line back in the week 1 team report, I believe. Really good defensive line via a couple tackles for loss. Quiddy Pay was the only one to get to the quarterback. He had 1 sack on the game. No interceptions from anybody. But yeah, pretty good game. Got the force win. Dolphins wasn't able to play the game. We were about to play, then he had to back out. So he gave me the force win. So a good start to the season. So let's take a look at game 2, which you could see we lost. Played the Bills. The Bills always has my number. I mean, I can't even make a close game against the Bills for some reason. Maybe it's his familiarity with the way I play and what I do. I just never really have a good game against the Bills. I had better games against the Browns and Seahawks and other top guys. Just the Bills, I just can't. I don't know what it is. But he led the the Bills led in offensive yards gained. They had offensive rush yards advantage and also the pass yards. I had the most first downs, but that doesn't really matter if you're not putting up points. And you could see the turnover game was terrible on my part. 5 interceptions from Dylan McCaffrey here. 41 rating, 281 yards, 1 TD, 5 interceptions. Only completed 42% of his passes. And then you take a look at Josh Allen, 146 rating, 322 yards, a couple touchdowns, no interceptions, and he completed almost 80% of his passes. You take a look at the Russian here. You got Kareem Hunt. I mean, he was kind of running against a stacked box at points, but he wasn't shy of throwing towards the end of the game when he was up big. So, I mean, even when I had a stacked box, he would check down to a throw or something like that. So, well, not check down, check up, I guess, to a throw. But Kareem Hunt Was able to bottle him up a little bit. 18 attempts, 65 yards for 3.6 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. Same thing with Max Borghi. He kind of got bottled up. 9 attempts for 36 yards, 4 yards a carry. Wasn't able to find the end zone. Josh Allen found the end zone a couple of times on the ground. Bryce Love got a couple touches, only 11 yards. I don't think anybody else from my team. Casimir Allen got 1 attempt, got a -1 yard. Made a broken tackle and kind of got bottled up at the line, but he had a he had no impact. Hopefully, we could get him to get an impact. Jalen Waddle, the new cheese monster for Buffalo, high-speed guy that he drafted. 10 receptions, 187 yards, couple touchdowns. Max Borghi was a leader in receptions for the New England Patriots with 5. A yardage leader, we had Waddle there. KJ Hamler, who I picked up in free agency, a speed guy as well, like Waddle. Trevon Grimes, obviously, got a couple catches, 72 yards. Bryce Love was able to make an impact as well. Then you got Baylor Cup. Not sure who that is. Must have drafted it this year or undrafted free agent. And then Debo, only a couple catches, but one of the catches was a key third down that helped him continue his momentum. Tackles, Jalen Redmond. He was on fire this game. He was by far my best defensive player. As you can see, 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Tremaine Edmonds also had a great game. 8 tackles, 3 for loss. Then you got Isaac Taylor Stewart, who had 5 tackles. Let's take a look at the tackles for loss. So you got the 2, Edmonds and Redmond both had 3. Devin White was able to get 1. Matt Milano, Budda Baker, Christian Tutt, Ronnie Harrison. Then you got Byron Young, Steven Nelson, Linville Joseph, Telvin Smith Jr., Sr., and then you got Carlos Dunlap, who was also able to get back there and get a tackle for loss. Jalen Redmond had the most sacks in the game, a couple of sacks. Hopefully he continues that. Then you got Carlos Dunlap, who had 1. Dean Lowry had 1 himself, and then you had Micah Hyde, who got in there and got a sack himself. All the interceptions go to Buffalo. You got Tremaine Edmonds, Steven Nelson, Telvin Smith Sr., Jalen Myrick, and then you got Christian Kirksey. All got an interception. It was a pretty bad game on my part. I just tried to force some stuff towards the end of the game, and it got even worse. But you live and you learn. Hopefully, I get a little better with that as the season goes on. There was 1 fumble forced by Carlos Dunlap on a strip sack. But yeah, Buffalo manhandled me. That was his game all throughout. Then I got a good one right here against the Ravens, and then Bengals. I don't know if he'll be playing at that time. Hopefully he is. Then I got one against the Bengals. And then we got the Dolphins and Jags before our bye week. So a pretty good schedule before bye week. So we'll see how we do there. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the stats. We're gonna take a look at the overall stats. We're gonna go through the little content piece I had. Let me pull it up real quick. It's pretty much predicting the awards for the Patriots. I got the most valuable player for this season. We're going to predict the most valuable player for this season on the Patriots. The bounce back player for the Patriots, and then the most improved player for the Patriots. Bounce back and improved, kind of the same thing. Bounce back is, I kind of looked at it as, had a terrible year last year, came in and performed well this year. And then when it comes to most improved, it could have been a guy that really didn't get a lot of touches, didn't get a lot of looks, and then this year he gets a lot of looks, performs, and all that. So that's what I count as a most improved player. So first, let's take a look at the these stats, and then we'll talk about that. Dylan McCaffrey, 568 yards, 39 for 72 for 54 completion percentage. Uh, the computer gave me 3 passing touchdowns in the first game, and I still somehow got a negative, a -1 in passing touchdowns to interception ratio. We're gonna have to fix that. He almost has a 70 rating. We're still going to roll with Dylan McCaffrey, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the rushing. So our leader is Max Borgi with 29 rushes for 111 yards. Then you got Bryce Love with 7 for 26. And Najee Harris has 4 for 21. And then Dylan McCaffrey has 5 yards on 1 carry. And Max Borgi has the 1 touchdown. And speaking of Max Borgi, he is actually going to be considered our most improved player award for. He's the candidate. He's the predicted player to get that award. I love Max Borgi. He's pretty much a Christian McCaffrey clone. I added 1 plus speed, but he's a Christian McCaffrey clone, a receiving back with good elusiveness, do a lot of damage out of the backfield. Gonna work on his injury. So he is the candidate for the most improved player because he's gonna get a lot more touches this season. I think I'm gonna let it roll with him, even though I have Bryce Love and Najee. I think he's gonna get the max looks on the squad. So he's gonna be our most improved player. If I had to predict. Then we go to our receiving core. We got Trevon Grimes leading the team with 197 yards on 10 receptions. He has 3 touchdowns as well, so he's leading in touchdowns. Second in yardage is KJ Hamler, pretty much from that one game. Was able to stretch the field with him a little bit. Then you got AJ Brown, who has 8 receptions for 76 yards. Mike Gesicki, good addition from the Dolphins. Hopefully he continues to play well. 6 receptions for 65 yards. Then you got Bryce Love, 2 receptions for 56. Felton Davis, 4 for 49. And then you got Max Borgi, 5 for 31. And then 1 reception by Darren Waddler and 1 reception by Eubanks. Most valuable player is going to be in the wide receiver position from my prediction. And the most valuable player is actually going to be Trevon Grimes. I think he's going to have a hell of a season this season. He's off to a good start, just under 200 yards, averaging 98 yards per game, 3 touchdowns so far. I could see that getting even higher. I could see him perform even better. So we'll keep an eye on Trevon Grimes. He's predicted to be the most valuable player. And we'll see how that turns out at the end. Let's take a look at the sacks. Both Dave Andrews and Aaron Hagler haven't let up a sack yet in 120 plus downs played. Then you got Kalichi Osemele, who hasn't let up a sack. And then you got Shaq Mason, who hasn't let up 1 sack. And then Isaac Weaver also let up a sack. Now, when it comes to the bounce back player, I put down Isaac Weaver. Isaac Weaver had a tough year last year. He gave up a lot of sacks. I think he had a +5 or +6, meaning that out of the 16 games he played, or 14 or whatever it was, I think he might have been injured at one point. But out of the amount of games he played, he let up 4+ sacks. So he let up 1 every game and then 4+. So it was a tough year. I could see that improving drastically this season. Hopefully it's cut in half. So let's say he plays 16 games, he only lets up 8. Something like that. Right now he's on that pace. 1 sack in 2 games, 124 downs played. So we'll see how that continues. But that's gonna be it for the awards aspect. So we got Max Borgi for the most improved. We got the bounce back player in Isaac Weaver, and then most importantly, our MVP is going to be considered Trevon Grimes. So He's got the speed, he's got the size, so hopefully that comes to fruition, and hopefully we're able to do something this year. Tackles leader, no surprise here. Devin White, best linebacker, leading tackles, followed by Jalen Redmond and Christian Tutt. Good little showing by Christian Tutt so far this season. Hopefully that continues. You take a look at the tackles for loss. We got 3 from Jalen Redmond and then 1 from a bunch of guys here. Malik McDowell being 1. Let's take a look at the sacks. We got a couple from Jalen, and then we got 1 from Dean Lowry. And then we got no interceptions so far this year. That's going to have to change if I want to compete. But let's take a look at the fumbles. No fumbles either. But that's pretty much going to do it for this this episode of the team report. Like I said, we went through most improved, most valuable, went through the stats. Next week I'll probably talk about who I'm building this season. Go through my normal routine of going through the game, and then we'll talk about a little bit of who I'm building on offense, who I'm building on defense. Maybe I'll split that up to give me more content later on in the season, later on in the year. But that's pretty much going to do it. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to be doing the league report soon. Hopefully I get a guest. If not, I'll have to wait until tonight or tomorrow, or I don't know. We'll have to wait until we could get a guest on, because doing the top 50, I want to be able to have somebody on that could discuss that with me. But that's pretty much going to do it for the team report. This is Nefarious, and I'll see you later.